I know we're all going to be off subject, but
I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah, it's 6 more weeks of winter if he sees a shadow, and spring is just around the corner if he doesn't. What does around the corner mean? I grew up back in that area.
6 more
and I was like,
weeks.
yeah, 6 more weeks.
6
It's
more
like, how do
weeks.
you say he's wrong? He's right 100% of the time. Anyway, so present we have 4 people. Paula's online. I wanted this meeting was basically, the agenda was going to be introductions. We don't do introductions at this point, but to talk about, first of all, what dates we want to set for the quarterly meeting was one thing. The second thing was the finalization of the letter that is going to go out from Great Lafayette Commerce. And the third thing that we were going to discuss tonight was the working with Great Plains ADA, and they're sending me information that we can put our programs together on, as I call, the low-hanging fruit for businesses that are going to come into this meeting to give them, as Tracy, as you said, I think is better, is ADA 101. That the areas that we want to start them off with, not bombard them with so many things about ADA, but the things that they need to be able to go back to and start looking at their building and trying to figure out what they can do to make their buildings more accessible than what they are at this point. So I guess we'll just start with the dates. What, do we want to continue? The quarterly meeting was in January. We moved it to today because I was out of town, and I apologize. But we do the meetings April. I don't remember what we had set up before.
So it would have been January, April,
July, and October.
I might make a recommendation that we look to possibly, our choices are that we could not have a meeting in July and come up with another date, or move the rotation so that it is June and not July. I think we typically find that kids are going back to school in August, so families and everything are typically on vacation. Business owners, likewise, it would be probably like having one in March. Gets into all kinds of problems with spring break. So maybe if we went, if we were off just a little bit, help me with the rotation here. So if we went February, June, would it be October then?
We can leave that one as October.
So basically quarterly starting with February, whatever those months work out to be, March, April.
Would be May, but we'll just go to June because kids are getting out of school in May. So I would say for this year, because we're starting this, I guess I like what you're saying is you're thinking about what the community, what's going on in the communities in July.
4-H fair, there are just a lot of other things going on. So February, June, and or we can stick with January. Just know that we moved this one up and make it that puts you in. That's January, April, right?
Yes.
But then we're back to
Yeah, but we could always do April and then do June. That you're just shorten that time frame.
Okay.
And then lengthen the time frame to October.
It probably is important for us to have another meeting soon to be able to launch what we want to do with the businesses and everything.
Yes.
So we'll make the next one in April then, and then
June.
And then June.
And October. And we
maybe subject to change. We'll list that for right now.
okay. So then that gives us plenty of time to, my idea is to have, I'm gonna roll right into the letter side of this, is the letter finalized by the end of next week, So it'll go out to everybody on this committee to review and give their feedback, to have this out, so it goes out in the next newsletter for the Greater Lafayette Commerce.
Okay.
So the letter will be finished by February 10th, which is a Friday, to go out to everybody. Committee. And then from there, we would need to have any type of revisions by the following Thursday, the 17th. To be in the hands of Greater Lafayette Commerce by the end of the day on the 21st. That way we'll get in their March newsletter for an April meeting.
So those dates again were December, drafted, distributed by December 10th.
Yes.
And-
Revisions back to you, Paul, and myself by the 17th for us to make the revisions to go out, which was on a Thursday, for the revisions to go out by the following Monday. That the final letter would be in the Greater Lafayette Commerce's hand by the
On the
Monday,
21st. Okay.
to meet their deadline.
Okay.
So then from there, the last thing that I really wanted to cover in tonight's meeting was how we have to come up with what we're going to talk about in April, June, October, and then January of 2024. So when businesses come to this meeting, we have something that we can hand them that they're going to be tangible, that they're going to be able to take back with them, but also give them ADA 101 to make them aware of what they're looking at for when they go back to the business. And then from there, we're going to have to make ourselves available that when business owners start coming back asking questions, what can we do? They're not understanding things, that there's going to have to be a small group of people, depending on how many of these we start getting back, to go out and do site visits.
So January 24 is when we're looking at doing the training then? Or was it before that? I wrote January, but it may not have been January.
Well, that would be the last of the four, because we talked about doing a quarterly business meeting to try to bring information to the business owners, and we were going to do that over 4 meetings. So we would have a meeting with them in April, June, October, and January of 2024.
All right.
I will continue to work with Great Plains on information pamphlets that they can get for us.
I'd be especially interested in if they have a document that is I'm going to call it an FAQ document, frequently asked questions. You know, does ADA, how does ADA apply to me? I've seen one at one of the trainings that we've gone to. I just can't remember who. Somebody hosted it. There was a vendor that hosted it, but it had a lot of great information. I'll have to look at home and see if I still have it.
Paula just sent a message, which is she's saying, how about starting in March, which is Disability Awareness Month, and then we'll take June, et cetera.
So go March
Yeah.
instead of April.
She's saying recap those dates for me before the end of the meeting. Okay.
Wait, quick question. Do you know when they send out their newsletter in March? Like, is it at the beginning of the month or end of the month?
It's at the beginning of the month,
Because you could,
like the first week.
you could have the meeting near the end of the month so that people are still aware of it within that time frame.
That's a very good, that's a very good point. So, Paul, I'm going to reiterate the dates again. We like your idea of this being, March being ADA Awareness Month, that we'll look at doing the March meeting instead of April, towards the end of March. That way we have enough time for Great Lafayette Commerce to get the newsletter out to everybody. I would like to have the letter completed. We may want to move this up a little bit. We may want to say, I will have the letter completed by next Monday, which is the 6th. Revisions back by Friday, which would be the 10th. That way we can have it in the hands of the Greater Lafayette Commerce by,
We have the date of the 21st.
the 21st, and the 10th is a Friday, so I'm going to say the 15th at the latest, which would be the Wednesday. That gives us basically almost a whole week before what we were initially looking at. That way we can, they have it in their hands since we're going to move this meeting to March.
So March would be the first training session that we have
Correct.
then.
And then from there, working with Great Plains, we'll get, if you can find what you had for the frequently asked questions, I'll get information back from them. I guess my next question is, because we can set up, once I get all that information from Great Plains on our ADA, what we're calling 101, I feel that we are going to have another meeting prior to the March the business meeting, to go over the information that we have, that we know that we have all the documents that we want to be able to put in front of everybody.
Okay. When I look at, when I schedule this out, it looks like it would be for the quarterly training and meeting, it would be March, it would be June, it would be September, and then it would be, we'd have December would be on the quarter, but we could probably move that one could be moved to January, and then we would be then we'll just be into sort of a January rotation.
Normal
then.
rotation, that's a good idea.
And it may be that we have to split something there, looking at 2024.
Right, okay. Because I don't think December's going to work for very many people. 'Cause
Right.
Thanksgiving gets over.
Maybe
and
that's our
everybody's ready to
maybe that's our
Christmas.
holiday party.
Yes. Okay. So we move this to September. So we have March, June,
September, those would be the next three.
September, and then January. And then I agree, Paula, we need to have a leadership meeting as needed. And then before, we need to set a date in March. If we look at a calendar, if we're saying the latter part of March, we could say the 28th, which is a Tuesday.
I'll be gone that week.
Okay.
And there may be, I'm going to guess some other people may, if they've got
Yeah,
kids.
got spring break.
Yeah, Purdue and West Sides is here, and then I think TSC is here. But I'd still be available for call and stuff like that too, and to do work as well.
So if we were to say March, then do we want to look at sometime the week of the 13th?
Yeah, looks like it from the
Okay.
13th to the 17th.
March 13th through 17th. So obviously I don't have access to your calendar, but I'm assuming the meeting's going to be in here. We need to figure out what day that this room's going to be available for that, so.
Okay, so I will check on that.
Okay. And I know Paula could check too, or road school is that week. Yeah, but how many people, businesses?
It's an issue for us, but it's not, for commissioners, but it's not all week. I just need to look
Right.
and see what the calendar looks
Okay.
like. It might be that we end up on could be a I can't remember if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. I think it's earlier in the week.
Yeah, I think I want to say it either ends on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, so
BFNS always has their
we'd
big-
still be a Thursday then.
Right. But make sure the room's available for us as well. So we're going to get some frequently asked questions. We're going to get some other information from Great Plains. Then I can start putting those documents together on what we're going to talk about in March, what we're going to talk about in June, what we're going to talk about in September, so we can lay this out. Because again, I'm going to, Tracy, I could say it ain't better, ADA 101. If we try to throw way too much at these people in one meeting, they're going to be overwhelmed. I mean, you know how we were when you go to your first
I think
symposium. You're
it's a
like,
good opportunity just to show them what the code looks like, but not expect to get real deep into the code.
Right.
And, hopefully by the end, what we would have is we'd have a group of people, if they participated, they would feel comfortable going online and doing some of their own research.
And that's a lot of it. That's, when you go to the symposiums and when you listen to these people speak, one of the things, when you take your exam to become a certified ADA consultant or coordinator, a lot of it is knowing where to go look for the information. And that's something that we can give them as part of this program. That's going to help in a couple different ways. One is they're doing their own research, so you know that they're interested. Number one. Number two, because they're doing their own research, they're going to remember it longer. And number three, it takes a lot of pressure off of this group because we're not going to get as many phone calls because they're trying to figure out this information themselves.
Okay, anything else on the agenda, Tim?
That was all I had. This is what I really wanted to cover. I was honestly expecting some more people to be in here, but, I was thinking 45 minutes for a meeting like this should be plenty. And I know when we talked was, let's move the meeting up to like 4:30, that you try to catch people before they're going home. Because when the meeting's at 6 o'clock, they're like, I'm done at 5, I'll run home for a little bit, and then they decide they're not coming back. Paul is looking right now to see the dates of when this room may be available. So with that, do we want to, these quarterly meetings, do we want to do the same thing, that we try to set these up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 4:30 in the afternoon, so we catch these people before they go home?
I would like to, what we should probably do, if we've got a list of people who've been coming to the meetings, we probably want to reach out to them and make sure that it doesn't create a problem, because if they're getting off at 5 o'clock and getting across town or wherever, to be here for a 4:30 meeting may be a little, it is, it's convenient for us, but that's not, we'll come one way or the other. It needs to, I want to make it convenient for the other folks. And if we've got I think if I remember right, we've got a couple of different rosters that we can work off of to reach out to them and see, what time works best for them.
Right, okay. She's saying 16th is open.
And that's a 13th, 14th, but that's Thursday?
16th is Thursday, yes.
Yeah, let's grab that date for the next meeting then.
Paul, if you want to go ahead and register us to have that in here I'm just going to say if we reserve the room from 4 o'clock till 9 o'clock, that way it covers us if we decide, if we find out that business owners are going to say 6 o'clock is going to be better for them, or 5:30. With that being said, once the newsletter goes out, I guess I'd like to talk to Scott Walker a little bit, is to find out how, yes, that works, Paula, 4 to 9. How we can reach out to these business owners to find out who's going to be interested in coming to the program.
I would guess we could volunteer Paula to handle the RSVPs and just have them call our office and ask for her voicemail, or have them respond by email. Would be another
Would be
thing
a
that would
bit-
probably
yeah.
work better.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, both, but some people are gonna call, some people are gonna RSVP,
And just as long as we have a way to track it, so we know how many people are coming. She didn't blow your phone up yet?
She said yes.
Yes, okay, good.
I'm assuming the yes is, Paula, you will accept the RSVPs via phone or email.
She said, I'll take care of RSVP. See, she doesn't need GoToMeeting.
Thank you, Paula.
Anything else?
That's it. That's all I had. I've got my work cut out for me for now.
Okay, so I'm looking for the, my tasks are making sure that the room, sounds like the room's already been reserved. I want to work on these quarterly dates again and kind of look at a community calendar and some other things and make sure that I'm not blowing something up. But,
Okay.
and then I'll make sure that we have space reserved here for all the meetings that we have scheduled out. Paula's going to handle the RSVP. We may have to have have one more operational meeting to talk about other things that would go on during the actual training session, about
Right.
what the training's going to be, who's going to do what, and a lot of it will be materials and discussion. I've always been taken by, there have been some folks that have done ADA training that actually involved bringing a wheelchair in and having a person sit and try to navigate through spaces
Set up a
and
road
everything
course.
and kind of have a true appreciation for
Yeah.
some of the difficulties that you
Okay.
encounter.
So I would say we really should set up this meeting to discuss that sometime the
Pretty
week of
quick.
the 6th.
Yeah.
The week of March 6th, that
Yeah.
we don't need to have this room, but if we have someplace that we can just sit down in a small group like this and talk about, here's the information that I have, because that's at this point is, I'll have the letter out to everybody. The revisions will be made, it'll go out to GLC, GLC. Then at the meantime, I'm working on what we're gonna put together as far as what the code looks like and this ADA 101 program. I have a wheelchair. Actually, I have 2 wheelchairs besides the one Jesse rides in, so I have 3, but I can't take hers. So I could bring 2 in, then, that would be a good idea. So then I'll be working on that side of things as well, as getting all this, what we want to talk about over the next 4 meetings, and put that program together. We can talk about that at the meetings the week of the 6th.
Okay, very good. I'll make sure that my calendar is clear. Just let me know what time, and that can probably float just a little bit, but. All right.
Let's,
And I
if
don't-
you have your calendar with
Yeah,
you.
let's see if I can get it here.
Are you available on the 7th, which is a Tuesday? I mean, this can be done during the day.
Yeah, I'm available on the 6th, and I'm available on the 7th as well.
Well, let's do it on the 6th, because you have county commissioners meeting that day.
Mhm.
So I'll already be here. So let's do it after the meeting.
Okay?
So Paula, we're going to do this follow-up meeting to go over all this information on March the 6th, after the county commissioners meeting. Okay.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We're all right. Very good. We're adjourned. How about that?
Thank you. Thanks, Paula.
You got the best seat in the house.
I know. I was trying my